Part of the reason we went into Iraq was the main reason we went into Iraq at the time was we thought he had weapons of mass destruction. It turns out he didn't, but he had the capacity to make weapons of mass destruction. But I also talked about the human suffering in Iraq.
Intelligence gathered by this and other governments leaves no doubt that the Iraqi regime continues to possess and conceal some of the most lethal weapons ever devised.
What did Iraq have to do with what?
The attack on the World Trade Center.
Nothing.
I have not suggested there's a connection between Iraq and 9/11.
And nobody's ever suggested in this administration that Saddam Hussein ordered the attack.
With respect to 9/11, of course, you've had the story that's been public out there. The Czechs alleged that Mohammed Atta, the lead attacker, met in Prague with a senior Iraqi intelligence official 5 months before the attack.
Nobody's ever suggested that the attacks of September the 11th were ordered by Iraq.
Now, what the Vice President said was that he has been involved with al-Qaeda.
We've learned that Iraq has trained al-Qaeda members in bomb making, in poisons, and deadly gases.
The terrorists attacked us and killed 3,000 of our citizens before we started the freedom agenda in the Middle East.
He's a threat because he is dealing with al-Qaeda. The war on terror is, you can't distinguish between al-Qaeda and Saddam when you talk about the war on terror. We know that Iraq and al-Qaeda have had high-level contacts that go back a decade.
We knew Saddam Hussein harbored Zarqawi, the terrorist we have seen who's beheaded some of our citizens.
People who analyze the program fully understand that America's civil liberties are well protected.
First of all, whatever we have done was legal.
There is a constant check to make sure that our civil liberties of our citizens aren't, are treated with respect, and that's what I want, and that's what all Americans want.
To answer your question, whatever we will do will be legal.
I guess you could be relaxed about all this if you didn't think there was a true threat to the country. I know there's a threat to the country.
What we did in the past gained information that prevented an attack.
To listen to foreigners who may be calling into the United States.
I am. Listen, I no more want to trample the civil liberties of the American people than anybody else does. And Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job. The FEMA director is working 24 hours.